done by the assistant professor Ürün Yıldıran, and it's called Understanding Turkish Audience Dizi Experience Regarding Traditional TV versus Over-the-Top TV, a Descriptive Qualitative Study. So, Ürün Hocam, başlayabilirsiniz.
Thank you. Here is my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. First of all, I also want to thank you for giving me this chance to present, to share the details of my research to my valuable colleagues. I'm going to focus on Dizi experience. I'm working on Dizi. It's it's the leading genre actually on TV and also on the over-the-top TV recently. And also it is at the top of the rating list, so that's really important, and I want to search for it. So I'm going to first talk about the purpose, claim, and methodology, a very brief explanation of Turkish Dizi history and digital media platforms in Turkey. Then I'm going to share the details of my research, and I'll end up with findings and conclusions. So the aim of my study is to examine the differences and similarities of the Turkish audience's Dizi experience on traditional TV versus over-the-top TV platforms. I'm going to use the word Dizi. I prefer to use the word Dizi instead of Turkish TV drama, because I believe Dizi becomes as a term, as its own, as it creates its own characteristics, and it is now acceptable both in the sector and worldwide academically. The claim of my study is just about over-the-top TV's importance. So I believe over-the-top TV platforms has a remarkable influence on Turkish Dizi sector in Turkey, and I'll try to search for it from the audience experience. So I'm going to make a descriptive quantitative analysis. I created an online survey. I'm going to share the details. So basically, we can divide, we can make a broad categorization for Turkish Dizi on television from the beginning. Just as we can just first put the first Dizi broadcasted on Turkish television, TRT, in 1975. Which was a kind of has a cinematic influence that was created on with cinematic influences. But after the TRT becomes an important medium in Turkey, and the television widespread around the country, they started to appear more nationally produced TV Dizis. We can call the first period the beginning period, in which the directors were coming from the cinema sector, and the televisual characteristic was not considered, was not understood. So they look like the TV versions of some kind of Turkish films. We can call the development period in TRT after 1980s actually, in which the period there are now new directors who understood the television as a new medium, and TV drama is something else than the films. And there started to appear new narration style for the TV Dizi. A new era comes with the commercial broadcasting in Turkey after 1990s, but it also needs time to establish the infrastructure, first of all, for the TV channels. And we only started to see the Turkish Dizi at the end of 1990s. But with the Millennium after 2000, actually there was a boom in Turkish televisions regarding the Dizi productions and broadcasting. There are hundreds of television Dizi broadcasted, and there was 2 Dizi broadcasted on national TV channels at the night. And now we have a new era with this over-the-top televisions. So it is now having another stage. So in order to talk about over-the-top television, there are other stages that we have gone through, the digital broadcasting and IPTV technologies in 2010. And the first over-the-top television was Puhu TV in Turkey, and it creates the first original content. But actually they couldn't use this opportunity correctly or successfully, we can say. The second one, Blue TV, appeared in 2017, and it is now dominating the sector over-the-top TV sector in Turkey, the national base, I mean. And recently this year, the beginning of this year, there were two new over-the-top televisions appeared. They started streaming, and they also provide some nationally produced content in Dizi sector. So what I did in my research was a part of my scientific project funded by my university. It is one of the three branches, as it is stated in the critical television studies, the production, the product, and the audience. So this is the part of my research about the audience. So here what I'm going to share you is the differences and similarities about the Dizi experience of Turkish audience. So here are some demographic information. I believe I have the charts in Turkish because I conducted the survey to the Turkish audience group, but I'm going to express them in English. Here are some general information. As you see in the first diagram, it is the survey was conducted to 225 people, audience, and most of them, as you see, is female, which was, I guess, a kind of estimated result. I have a good distribution of age, I guess, with a good distribution with different ages. And when we look at the education status, it's just the half of them seems to be graduates, and also I have some postgraduates. And again, most of the respondents are full-time employees, and they have average income. And when I look at the Marshall status, they say I see half of 50-50 percentage, which is also something accepted for the survey. So I started with how often do you watch TV? And it is the question in a weekly based, and the top, the below charts show the digital platforms, OTT TVs, regarding Blue TV, Puhu TV, XN, and Gain, and the other ones are for the traditional television channels. As you see from the charts, we can just comment on these results. I see just a majority, nearly 60% of the answers show that the digital platforms, the OTT TV audience, watch TV serials and not in a stable condition, so they change time to time. But when we see the traditional television, it seems more like a settled habit. So only 20% of says they change the frequency of their watching. When we look at this how often question in a detailed version, in a daily base and an hourly base, the blue ones show the weekdays and the red ones show the weekends. Again, when we compare, it was an expected result also about the prime time. So the Dizi audience prefer to watch Dizi in both media at prime time. So we can say prime time is still the leading time slot. But also when we compare the other results for the OTT TV Dizis, we see the audience also prefer to watch in different hours, like especially the at night, midnight is something interesting. And when we compare the weekdays and weekends, we see it increases in the weekends, which is something, an opposite result in traditional TV. they decreases, especially both in prime time and before prime time slots. They decrease the audience watching decreases when we compare the weekdays and weekends. And where I also asked, where do you watch Dizi? I see in both media, they prefer to watch in the living room, and just the bedrooms and kitchens follow this result. So there are not major differences, but the difference is the numbers. Yes, when we have a kind of listing, we say the second place comes the bedroom, but when we see the number of the results, we see the difference. We can say that for the audience, this audience of over-the-top television, they also prefer bedroom with a highly percentage with that, but it is like the third 3 times higher than the traditional television. And I also ask, who do you watch the television with? And as you see from the charts again, we see that audience just prefer to watch the Dizi alone. So it seems like an individual activity. It becomes an individual and personal activity watching Dizi, but also with family and with just other people, just partners, also has a good rate. But when we compare it deeply, we see that traditional TV is higher with parents, especially, and with family. So again, traditional television seems more like a family tool when we compare it over the top television. I also asked the simultaneous activities, if you do any simultaneous activities. There isn't a significant difference between the activities. Not a very significant difference at the percentage, but in the digital platforms, the result is shown with the red color is higher than the traditional television channel. So it means the TV audience, traditional TV busy audience, prefers to do more simultaneous activities compared to OTT TV busy audience. I also asked the differences regarding the Dizi in different medium. The below question was asked the ones who only watch traditional television. So they haven't. I assume that they won't have a detailed answer, but they only would have an idea, an opinion about if they think there is a difference or not. But for the digital platforms, the watch both platforms, the digital platforms and traditional television, I created a more detailed version of the question. So as you see from the results, you see the censorship creates the most differences, but also the originality, visual and audio quality has also an important difference, which most of the audience would agree that they are really, really different in these aspects from the traditional television Dizi. They also find it approximately or partially different in regards to the performance, the actors, actresses, and the plot or the creative crew. I also asked the watching habits. They mostly agree that the half of the audience agree that they are changing. Their watching habits is changing with the OTT Dizi, and also just a group of people who cannot make a decision about yes or no. Well, this is an important also thing. There is only 1/3 of the people who says no. So it just, we can say it is a good percentage to have half of the people thinking they have their watching habits are changing. So after watching the change in the habits, I also asked the attitude towards Dizi. if they have, and because there was a kind of negative attitude towards Dizi in the previous years, but now it's also changing, I believe. So I'll try to analyze this issue and try to prove this. So again, half of the answers show that yes, the digital platform, the Dizi's, also influence the attitude change, create an attitude change on audience to a positive direction. And also there was another step forward for the attitude change, which was a kind of an interesting result for me. It was like if digital platform disease influence your attitude about national television disease, and although just seems the red color shows the no answer, but just it was important for me that 1/3 of the people just say no, who weren't just watching traditional television. Dizi started to watch Dizi in the traditional television also. That's really an incredible result for me. I wasn't expecting that thing, honestly. So if I'm going to sum up the findings, there is a significant difference regarding Dizi experience between over-the-top television and traditional TV. The frequency of Dizi watching is not stable in OTT TV compared to traditional TV. Although prime time is still the valuable time slot for Dizi watching, the Dizi audience of OTT TV also prefers to watch before and after prime time, especially on weekends. Living room, which is followed by bedroom and kitchen, is the main place for watching Dizi, but for OTT TV Dizi, the preference of watching Dizi in the bedroom is almost 3 times higher than traditional TV. Dizi watching seems as an individual activity for both OTT TV and traditional TV. Moreover, Dizi watching with family or parents on traditional TV is higher than OTT TV. When simultaneous activities are compared, half of the answers show that the over-the-top television audience seems more focused on Dizi. However, there isn't a significant difference. The difference between over-the-top television Dizi and traditional TV Dizi becomes obvious is the censorship issue. It was really a high answer about that one. The Dizi audience points that the originality and audiovisual quality make OTT TV Dizi dissimilar to traditional TV Dizi. The finding indicates that half of the Dizi audience agrees that OTT TV Dizi is effective in changing their watching habits. Furthermore, half of the Dizi audience mentioned their attitudes towards Dizi has changed. Even 1/3 of the Dizi audience share that they started to watch Dizi on traditional TV based on this attitude change. So the answers, I can conclude, the answers indicate that there are major differences considering Dizi experience on OTT TV versus traditional TV, such as time and place, etc. Most of the survey participants agree national OTT TV platforms have changed their watching habits and also their attitude towards Dizi. Therefore, I can say the results prove that OTT TV Dizi has a remarkable influence on Dizi sector for the future in Turkey, which becomes obvious in the results, which become obvious in Turkish audiences' Dizi experience based on my research. I believe that's all I want to share for now. I will be sharing the more detailed version of my research as a report, I hope. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Ürün Hocam. Thank you for your presentation. I think it's really, promising results are, and also in this survey we can see more obvious that the differences between this on the top TV and the traditional TV. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
I'll try to be quick. I hope I didn't pass the time over.
Oh no, we have like the last 6 minutes, but I think if there is no question, I think we will maybe end the session, because there's also like people are, I think, changed to the room 1 for the keynote speaker, Professor Henry Jenkins. So I thank so much for the presenters for their contribution to this session and this symposium, and thanks so much for all listeners and participants here. Hope to see you in the next symposium maybe to face-to-face. So thank you so much, and have a nice time, have a safe and healthy time. Thank you.